Hi there guys, and welcome to the overview for the Irish faction. The Irish are a modded faction that I have created replacing the faction of Numidia. There are two versions of the mod available, and I will be covering the units and campaign map of both. If you want a more detailed explanation as to why there are two versions, there is a link to a video covering parts of the mod making process in the description as well as in the card above. The version that we are looking at currently is the player version. This will be the version that I will be using in my narrative series, and after we've covered this version we'll go over the second version, the AI version. So, this is your standard barbarian faction. It's inspired by the Gaul, the Britons, and the Germans. So you have your basic barbarian peasants, they're barbarian peasants, and then we have the first of our special units. This is the Banshee. It is basically the reskin of a Screeching Woman. It is a Screeching Woman, it's just reskinned. So it's the exact same stats, exact same bonuses. It's a Screeching Woman, but it looks like an old woman. Next we have the Warband. This again is your Bob standard Warband. Nothing too exciting there, your basic infantry. And then you've got your Druids, the second of the special units that you can get from the religious buildings. Again, not many changes, it's a druid. They have the Road Warriors, the third of the religious building unit. Again, it's exactly the same as the Britons' Road Warriors. And then you have your Swordsmen and Chosen Swordsmen, again, exactly the same as the standards. And then we come to our missile units, so we've got the Slingers and Skirmisher Warbands, again, same as the units that you can find in the other barbarian factions. Now here's our first unique unit for the faction. This is the Huntsmen. They appear after the Marian reforms. They replaced the Slinger and the Skirmishers. The Huntsman is based off of I think it's the Germans' Forester. Whichever the faction has the Forester, it is a duplicate essentially of them. So they have incredibly long range, the good stamina, they've got pretty decent melee, well, they've got a melee of 11 and missile of 11, long range, they're pretty good. And then you've got the Warhounds, again they're just the Warhounds. You've got the Barbarian Cavalry with their own unique skin, well, the horse skin, it's your Bob standard cavalry. Then we have the Heavy Chariots, which make up for the lack of heavy cavalry at the beginning. So you've got your light cavalry, you've got your heavy cavalry. And then we've got our second unique unit, we've got the Axeman Cavalry, which replaced the heavy chariots after the Marian reform. Now these are actually worse than the chariots. So these Axeman Cavalry have bonus against armour, have pretty decent morale. So when you're coming into the late game and you're going up against more armoured units, e.g. the Romans, these guys will be able to get through the armour. And then you've got your two warlords, which are based off the, I want to say, German warlords? Is it the German or the Gaul? But they are mounted warlords rather than chariot based. Alright, so we'll start with the warlords. So we have the Barbarian Chosen Warlord. This is the late game warlord, so the post-Marian reforms. And then we've got the early Barbarian Warlord. This will be your main guy for the early mid-game. And you've got the Warhounds at the back, nothing special about them. Then we've got the Banshees, reskinned Screeching Women. They don't have any held weapon, because why not? Then your Warband, basic Warband except the green. Druids but the green. Barbarian Peasants but the green. You get the point. Then you've got your Swordsmen, Chosen Swordsmen over here. Then you've got the Huntsmen, who can hide anywhere. Then we've got the Chariots over here. Not being able to change the texture on the chariots, so we'll just say that they stole them from the British. Simple as that. Then we've got the Axeman Cavalry over here. Just Axeman on a horse. Simple as that. And then the Barbarian Cavalry, which is the basic Barbarian Cavalry unit. except they have a nice spotty dotty horse. With these units covered, we'll have a look at the campaign map. So with the player Irish faction, you only start with Ireland. So you start off with the city of Tara, everything else has been left as is. And you start with Rory O'Dowan here, with a very basic army. It's enough to get you over and with a foothold in Deva. In the city are a couple of missile troops and Aidan O'Dowan. This is your family members. So you have Dora O'Dowan and Aisling. You don't get many family members to begin with, so you need to keep these ones safe. Buildings wise, let us have a look. Buildings wise, the Irish have the standard barbarian loadout. So you've got your 3 tiers with your 2 tiers of walls, you've got your 3 barracks, 2 stables, and whatnot. It's all the same. Their uniqueness comes in at the religious buildings. This is a shrine to Credni, the god of metalworkers. It is a temple of Battleforge. Through this religion line you gain access to the Woad warriors, as well as getting the standard Battleforge bonuses such as the upgrades to light weaponry and experience boosts to troops. Next is the shrine to Bridget, a god associated with spring, fertility, healing, etc. It is a temple of healing. Through this line you gain access to the druids and bonuses to public order and health. Last is the shrine to Cleona, the queen of banshees. It is a temple of love. Through this line you gain access to the banshees. And that is the Irish faction as intended to be played by players. Now if you want to use the faction as an opponent, we have the AI version. So as you can see, a couple of units have been added to the roster, starting with the Spear Warband. I'll go into more depth in the mod making video, but it essentially came down to the AI was struggling with the unit roster it had before, so I was slowly just adding and taking away units until it seemed to be going steadily and was succeeding most of the time. So this included adding a light chariot, and a mounted huntsman, and missile artillery. So you've got your light missile cavalry early game and light missile cavalry late game. The mounted huntsmen are overpowered, to say the least. They have their attack and missile exactly the same. They've still got the long range. They're scary people, and we'll have a look at them. So the Spear Warband is just recoloured of the Dacians Spear Warband. Then we've got the mounted huntsmen here. They have incredibly long range and it is unfair. Then we've got the light chariots, who are used in the early game to be replaced by the mounted huntsmen when the Marian Reform occurs, and then your ballista and onagers, which borrowed from the Dacians, they're exactly what they are, onagers and ballista. Okie dokes, right, so let us have a look at the campaign. For the AI, they have been given a lot more territories. The Ireland has been split into 6 different cities, each with the potential to upgrade to the fullest, and then we've given them a foothold in the Britain Isles, including Scotland, and giving them Deva. Down here is Cornwall as well. So in the AI, the Irish AI already have a foothold in Britain. However, that does not mean easy sailings for them. Most of the time the AI, it can still lose and get sent back to Ireland. It's 50-50. Another note to make is, in order to ensure that the AI runs smoothly, diplomats can't be recruited until after the Marian reforms. Again, more details in the mod making video. I hope you enjoyed this little overview, and I also hope that you will enjoy the series made from this mod, or even enjoy playing it yourself. Links to the mod will be in the description when it becomes available. Thank you all for watching, and I hope I'll see you again. Bye!